and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Bretty Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether there's an awful boss, a shitty workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by comedian, writer, producer, all-around great guys, Benjamin and James Stevenson.
Oh, there we go.
Hello. And he nailed it too.
Dude, it was a pressure one as well because there's if you're listening to the audio version, the Stevenson Experience are with us today, and they are twins, and it is very stressful because sometimes you get the names wrong, but I don't because I know the difference.
The question was...
One of you has a big penis, and I won't tell you which one it is, and I can see it.
The question
I'd
was...
like to know the answer to that, Brett.
We
Just
all
if you could
would
just tell
know.
me.
It was whether you were going to point at us as you introduced us.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered where that would be the gap. But instead you just went Ben and James. So there's actually no evidence that you know
That's
which one of us
exactly
is
right.
which.
Benjamin.
Good
and
job.
James.
Very
Oh,
good.
well
Wow,
done.
you.
Thank you,
Come on,
Bronwyn.
Freddie.
Thanks
you,
for having
Bronwyn.
us on. Thank you.
God, have I got red hair and annoying? Anyway.
My favourite part of the introduction was when you said Ryder, and gave all these
Yeah.
credits, and then you said Benjamin and James
Yeah.
Stevenson. So I got all of my brother's
That's-
credits.
makes
And I
sense.
was
I
very thrilled with
I
that.
thought he was going to do two when he did that.
Yeah,
so I was
but
like,
he
I know
started
Brett
off
and
big.
how-
I thought he was going to go straight
Yeah, I
into
started
beach.
big, and then I realized my brain capacity is very small, and I was like, because then normally I only have to talk about one person, but I was like, okay, you're comedians, and then you're a writer, but also you're a producer. Then I was like, I was trying to make sure I got everyone involved.
Hey,
Our bio
great.
on the Melbourne, the show bio, it says Benjamin is a writer, comedian, producer, and then there's a paragraph break, and then it says James plays guitar.
Is that what it actually
That's
says?
what it says.
Yeah.
Dude, that
Pretty
rules.
good. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And you know what the worst thing is? I wrote it.
No.
So-
And James is sometimes also here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's easy to write someone else's bio, so it's okay.
Yeah,
that
I don't
you
like
were
to brag.
humble.
I'm humble.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I think that's actually very cool.
Thank you
that
very
are.
much.
Do you have a gun?
Yeah, I have a gun.
You should have listed
yeah,
that.
I'm that cool. I have a gun.
That would have been
Yeah.
cool.
Do you have a gun?
No, he doesn't
No,
have a
God,
gun.
no.
No one has a gun, Brett. It's not normal to have a gun.
Two.
He's got two guns.
Do you have two guns?
Yeah, I love them.
He takes them to the
You
footy.
love them.
I love guns.
Did you take them to the MCG last night?
Yeah, dude.
2 people got kicked out for holding... I don't know if this will date the
No.
the podcast.
Someone had a gun at the MCG.
Yeah,
Two people.
2 people. Well, I only read it this morning, so forgive me if I get the details wrong. But
What?
they got found with concealed weapons. So they got kicked out of the MCG.
Who the fuck's... I mean, mine are in safes at a rifle range, so
Yeah.
I'm not a... But I like shooting them with, that's a fun thing to do, I suppose. Not for everyone.
This is
But-
going to chop up real nicely when the police reports come out.
Oh, yeah. I was not at the MCG last night. I was here podcasting. But yeah, bringing it outside, even showing people, I don't do because
was a Collingwood
people in
match.
Australia don't react. Oh, it's a Collingwood match?
Yeah.
Surprised it wasn't a fucking heroin needle or something.
Or it could be
Got
both.
'em.
Maybe it was attached to it. Maybe a sticky tape to heroin needle to their shotgun.
What was that?
Brett.
Why did I say heroin needle?
Hey, it's okay. You try your best.
It was a Nerf gun loaded with heroin needles in the kind of 6-shooter
Well, the
chamber.
crazy-
that
It took me
goes through.
3 seconds to realise you were joking. I was like, really?
So the
That would work?
crazy thing is, I love my heroin needle, but I keep it locked in a safe at my dealer's house.
And you don't show
Just 'cause,
people.
you
Yeah.
know,
I
It's
keep it at
responsible.
I keep it at a safe at my dealer's house. That's fucking...
My heroin
So
needle.
two different people or same group?
I have no idea. I
Beach is
honestly
the one that
don't
read the
know.
news
I
this
don't
morning,
know.
and he's been spouting it to everyone in Melbourne
I
already.
just find it really fascinating.
Like, who brought the age with them? Jesus Christ.
I think Benjamin's the only person in the universe with a Sydney Morning Herald subscription. You know they have those blockers you can put in a browser and you can read the news for free.
Yeah, but I'd rather pay for it.
Okay.
So I
He's
That is
supporting
very
the industry he
nice.
works in, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah? He's in print media.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And you are yet to learn how to read. If I could take anything from your bio, it's you're not great at a lot of things.
Thank you.
James and apostrophes. Oh man, this is this
Really?
guy's biggest
I thought
weakness.
this was work hates, not James hates, everybody. I didn't realise.
I work with you. I
that
work
this-
with you. They sent us the topic of the thing. They're like, things you hate about your job, and I'm like, do we talk about our job?
Yeah.
Or-
Worst
Yeah.
colleague. Do we talk about each other?
Yeah.
Because how long have you guys been a duo? I know that forever, since you were born. I get that. All right, well done. But how long have you guys been a comedy duo?
Well, we did Class Clowns, which is a competition that Melbourne runs for high school age students, and we did that when we were
Mm.
15.
Wow, okay.
And then
Jesus.
we got through to
So 20 years. 20 years.
Yeah, and then we did that. We did that a couple of times.
Was it was it singing as well?
Yeah, we used to have a third person. We were called
What?
Mick Beegee because his nickname is Beege, Jimmy, and then his name is Michael. So we did Mick Beegee, and we did sort of like a sketch.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, we did.
That's
So when do you
15-year-old
want me
high
to
school
bash you guys?
Stevenson.
Let me know. Let me know.
Oh my god!
Immediately after the podcast would be great.
It was pretty trailblazing stuff back then with the 15-year-olds
It
rapping
was
Shakespeare.
horrendous.
pretty good.
Also, white kids rapping is one of my favorite things in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty
literal
good.
children. And I still remember one of the lines, which was like, "Oh, Shakespeare had a dog that wouldn't go outside. Out, damn spot." And I was just like,
Very good.
I would rather kill myself than relive that performance.
But you said it live.
And you've
to the
just said it.
recording.
You
And
just
I'm
said
going to
it.
use this as the clip. And
Yeah.
this is the clip.
And
of
that's
Roma.
the clip.
I
Yeah.
think that's pretty clever.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
great.
bro.
I've never,
thought
I've
of that
never
before.
listened to or read Shakespeare, so
Okay.
I don't get it. But I'm assuming it was great.
I love how listened or read came before watched.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a movie of it as well?
No, Shakespeare- It's a play.
Theatre.
It's a play.
Theatre play.
Shakespeare's a play.
Oh, I thought it was. Is it not a book?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
there's
they
a
publish
book.
the
There's
scripts,
a-
of course.
Yep.
So I'm not wrong. Okay.
No, you're
no,
not wrong.
of course.
You're never wrong.
But it's a
Brady.
play. I would not watch a play because I don't like they always sing and they crap on too much. I'm not a
But
big
they don't
play
sing
guy.
in Shakespeare, but you guys sang, no?
We rapped.
Rapped. Okay, is that the same?
I think we rapped Macbeth. We did
Yeah,
rap
I think it was
Macbeth.
Macbeth.
I think if you
Macbeth,
guys,
who had
if you
out
guys
them
are
spots.
rapping, I'm listening. That would be good. That would be good.
I just love the people who are come after this podcast, after this episode. First of all, journalists from the Sydney Morning Herald, and now second of all, Shakespeare with
Whoa.
singing in it.
Yes.
What's going on? It's a play. It's an anthology of performances. It's the finest work of the English language, Mr. Blake. And then
Is
your
it though?
emails are just going to blow
I mean,
up.
I think Good Will Hunting was a pretty good film. I'm just saying, it was, had stuff. Anyway, please stop looking at
So
me.
you started as a duo at 15, and then you stuck with that.
Yeah, we stuck with
Great.
it. We did, and then we started doing it more properly. And we used to have to get, out of like school camps and school excursions and like exams and stuff to go and do gigs.
Wow.
Because we would say, "Oh no, we've got a gig here, and we're going to Melbourne for this," and the school would be like, "Well, you got to be on our retreat or whatever," and then we'd get like a little pass, and then we wouldn't
wow.
go.
Really?
And we come to Melbourne
We would
instead.
drive to the Comedy Store and do a gig and then drive home overnight to Canberra. We grew up in Canberra. And then go to school the next morning.
Yeah,
That's fucking
we were
insane.
in
Because
year
it's like a 4-hour drive, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like three and a half, yeah.
Fuck. Did you guys ever get sick of each other? You know what I mean?
Ever? Oh, we went through a
Did
real
we? Do
moment.
we?
We're quite good now, but
Yeah, we're
we
good
went
now.
through a moment where we were very frustrated with like writing and creating with each other, and we just kept throwing everything in the bin, and we weren't sort of very generous with each other, and we're perfectionists about our comedy sometimes. And we weren't very relaxed about everything. We were right at the point where we were getting an audience, but we were just struggling to break that next level, and we were doing a lot together. Like we were on tour like 6-7 months of the year, and then there was I remember we were standing in the rain in Melbourne.
Like the climax of a romance movie.
I
And-
love this.
and-
I was
beach.
flying. Was I flying? I think I was flying.
And I was standing on a tram. You remember this? And
Yeah.
it's pouring rain. And Benjamin goes, "Why don't you just fuck off then?" And then the tram doors just shut in my face, and the tram goes
And
off.
the Stevenson Experience were parted by the power of the weather and the Melbourne Public
Dude.
Transport System.
So funny. But
in
these were
front,
the
of, in
days.
front of town hall.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
would have
just
saw
doing
that.
right
People
on.
definitely would have saw
was
that.
brilliant.
I would have loved that. That would have been in a group chat
And you know
straight
what
away.
the thing is, and I don't remember what that fight was about, but I guarantee you 100% it was about a 2-second pause in the show last night that one of us thought went for too long and one of us
Something
thought was
stupid.
perfect. And the other one's like, "You ruined the show," and the other one's like, "I made the show." You know how you get caught on these
yeah.
petty little bits? As
Yeah.
a duo, it kind of propagates
The thing
way,
that's
way
really
more.
interesting is that what flipped that was we stopped staying with friends when we went on tour, because we would stay in friends and we would feel like such an obligation to be so like serviceable to them and to take them out to dinner and be grateful, and we would share rooms and we would sleep on couches. And then the second week, and some people had young kids and stuff. One morning, Benjamin wakes up in the morning. We're supposed to be going off to a radio interview or something, and he just wakes up, and then our niece is just sitting on him, and he's like, "Oh, that's weird. I'm wet. I'm covered in piss. And then
Which, to be fair, is how we started this morning. But we got in the shower straight to the podcast.
Yeah, and we made it. We were on time. But
You guys do an impression of Brett Blake every morning? You piss himself?
You think it's fine because you love your mates and you're happy staying at their houses, but it's quite stressful to put us in that shared space and then to work together. Plus, we were back in those days we would fly our shows, so it was like 7 hours of working together and then the other 20 hours. I know there's not 27 hours in a day.
Hey, doesn't matter.
Just like being together. And then we're like, we'll just get our own rooms in a 2-bed flat or a hotel. And we stopped fighting.
Great.
I
So
found
there's
that hard.
separation.
Sorry. I found that hard as well when you're on the road, is because when you stay at someone's house, sometimes it's more of a drain because you want to I better clean, I better make sure they've got beer in the fridge, and they make sure. Sometimes I reckon it costs you more to stay at someone's house because I'm like, I'm taking you out for dinner, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's your time. If you're just sitting in a hotel room and it's $180, you're like, oh, at least I don't have to be on. You know what I mean?
And they want to hang out with you, which is nice. But sometimes there's a separation between, it's like an hour before my show. I've really got to get into gear. I can't go to the pub for a beer now.
Yeah.
I've got to think about that, and I'm only free at like 11, and then I've got to go, and it's sort of you get a bit scattered. So anyway, we stopped doing that. We're a lot calmer now, and we haven't fought
Since this morning.
Yeah.
since COVID, actually. COVID really gave us, I think, the break we needed. I'm not going to go on record saying COVID was a good thing.
No, we heard it here first.
But look, I would also say, and I don't know if this is a verifiable fact, fact check me, I think we might be still performing the longest running comedy duo.
What?
Umbilical
Really?
Brothers.
Like who's touring?
Umbilical Brothers.
They're a trio now. Sorry, let's say musical comedy duo. But like
Duo.
Yeah, because
You're taking a big
who
wild swing.
goes?
Wow, he's sticking a massive
Let's go
swing.
there.
That's what I was putting out there.
Even
I think
Oasis are back together, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Never heard of them. But I'm serious. Name like a musical comedy duo in Australia. Yeah.
Oh, musical, yeah.
But
okay.
then
Musical comedy.
the 10-year hump is really hard. It costs a lot more to tour. It costs
Yeah.
twice as much to tour, and people just kind of disappear, or they start doing solo stuff and they move away. So the fact that we're still doing it together, because we did hit that bit right in the middle, about 10 years in, where it
That was when money was really hard as well.
all of the
and
touring
everything
stuff just gets really hard for a group in
Yeah.
comedy. And so, we're pretty happy with how we do now.
I can't wait for your next verifiable fact, Benjamin.
Verifiable
I
fact.
think
I love a big
fact.
swing.
Musical comedy duo.
Verifiably fact.
Come on, name a
that
musical
Brett
comedy
Blake
duo.
is the only stand-up comedian still doing comedy in Australia.
Well, I would agree with that. I've seen a lot of other shows. Yuck. Saw Bronze last night. It was great. Thank you.
He
well
did
done,
see
bro.
it.
Oh,
Thank
lovely.
you. He did see it. He came along. He couldn't have hated it more.
What do you mean?
I'm
I
joking.
loved it.
He
I had a
liked
good
it.
time.
Yeah,
But
you're fine.
could you see me in the audience?
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Yeah, did you feel it was a good show?
Wednesday's always weird. I think Wednesday's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And so I was
Last
like,
night was Thursday.
Yeah, well, he came on Wednesday.
Oh,
I
right.
get
Okay,
confused.
yeah.
I'm an idiot.
He doesn't
Okay,
know.
yeah.
I love that you thought I would get that wrong.
Have a
It was
look.
definitely-
Have a look
Have a
over
look
here.
at that. Have a look at that. Yeah, but
He had tickets for Thursday, but he came on Wednesday.
Yeah. Classic. And then I argued with the door staff saying they were wrong.
And then I had a gun.
Yeah. I was at the MCG. Some shit went down.
stabbed her
Give me
with
an
my
hour to
needle.
go to my safe, and I
venue
will
for
be
Bron.
back.
Yeah, I've got to go to my gun safe out in Werribee, unlock it. 3 hours later, I'll be back in this
But
conversation.
it's unsafe to bring the gun. So I'm going to take a photo of it, and then I'm going to come back and show you that photo and be like, look what I technically have.
Yeah. I like to do it at reception. I put it like when they're like, oh, can I have some ID? And I put my gun license down just so they
That's
know.
very cool.
Yeah, but I look like a psycho. I've got to stop
What
doing
do you
that.
mean? That's not psychotic.
I reckon it is.
Is it an official point of ID?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's
I got that
official.
wrong.
Because for getting a gun license is obviously a fucking nightmare and a big process to do.
Yeah.
But when you go to do the course, the guy pretty much is like, fucking everyone should have a fucking gun. And you couldn't fail that test if you tried.
We went clay pigeon shooting, and the guy would he'd just be telling us about their guns. And I've also shot a few guns in like Czech Republic, which is where they're just like, here's an AK-47, safety.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, get me out of here as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm already got a little hard on over there. I was like, where
And
is
it was-
this?
But this guy, the clay pigeon shooting, they're just sort of like, they're just stroking the guns while they're telling us about it. And then he goes, and when you fire it, he
Ew.
cracks the gun open. You know, the shotguns crack open in the
Yeah.
middle, and the guns come out, and he goes,
No.
just "Oh, just smell it."
Oh my
I was
God.
like, "This man is going to commit crime."
And what's the second
sure.
half? What's the second half of that story? Is that James and a friend, we were at the Prague Fringe, and James we had the day off.
Remember this?
And James and a friend go, we looked it up, and we're gonna go to this gun shooting range because it's Czech Republic, and they let you have an AK-47 or whatever, you know.
Sick.
And I said, I would hate that. I'm gonna go to this church archaeological site that's built out of people's bones, like the walls are skulls.
Okay,
It's
so
awesome.
a death vibe either way, but
I'm
just
like, I'm not
different
going to
vibes.
shoot the guns. Anyway,
Okay.
I went to this church. They met up with them at the pub afterwards, and I was like, they were like, "How was the Bone Church?" And I was like, "It was awesome. How was shooting the guns?" And both of them went, "We hated it. we shot one bullet, and we're like, this is scary."
I honestly thought we were going to die. We were there with the Bucks Knights who were just waving guns around. And of course,
like an English Bucks party.
Yeah, there was an English Bucks party, and then it was us two, and they gave us like a Magnum, a shotgun, and an AK-47, and we shot them, and then the Bucks were just like waving guns around. We're like, we are terrified. Obviously, we took photos posing like gangsters with all the guns, where we didn't look. We looked tougher than we felt, and then we got back to the pub, and we're like, we should have gone to the grim death Bone Church.
Oh, I
That
think
would've
you were
been-
going to say, because I was on a date last night, we're talking about...
He has not stopped talking about this day.
It was
Oh my
once,
gosh.
anyway. It happens sometimes, guys. And we were talking about guns, and she was like, "It is a great feeling when you shoot it." And I was like, "I fucking know, dude." And I thought you were going to be like, when you shoot a gun, it's the
this
best
is a
feeling.
first date conversation for you.
Yeah, what a pickup line. It's a great feeling when I shoot it too.
Yes, yes.
I'm not trying to criticize. I'm just trying to get in my head.
But she was American,
God.
so
Okay.
it
Okay.
was...
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
It was a
Breakfast.
natural
Yeah.
progression.
She's
I don't
like-
think it was a date. We're hanging out having a
She
beer.
like leans forward. She's like, into a person in a Walmart.
Yeah.
That's
I was
cool.
like, fucking marry me now. I haven't been to Prague before. I'm actually going there this year, and now
yeah.
I'm excited that there's guns
shoot
there.
Yeah, well, I think it was called something like Steve's or Bob's, or just look for a single syllable man's name, and he's got guns on a farm.
Brits.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
You love it, Brady. You'll love it.
I would love it.
Diversify your
So if you
entertainment
guys,
portfolio.
if you guys got into performing so early as teenagers, were you thinking like this is going to be our job forever, or were you like, was one of you like, no, I'm actually going to go get a degree, or I'm going to do something else? Did one of you have a backup plan and the other one didn't?
Well, we both worked a myriad of shit jobs across that. We wanted to do this, but we're aware of the realities, and we're the right age demo where we grew up just watching the gala on repeat and repeat and repeat.
I loved it. It was my favourite time of the year.
Yeah, and we had all the DVDs. We tape it every year, and we had a bedtime of like 8 o'clock, and mum and dad would be like, "You got to go to bed," and we're like, "Tripod are on," and they're on last, so we're going to bed at 11:30 tonight.
They'd always jangle it
Longest
before
laugh.
the
They'd
ad
always
breaks,
dangle.
didn't they?
They'd be like, "And
This
come
one's
up,
coming up."
Tripod."
Coming up, yeah. And you're like, I got to wait for Husey or Will or Judith, and they're always at the end.
And mum and dad would let us do that, so we loved it. We watched it on repeat, and then we worked shit jobs, and then we both went to university, and we both did engineering and
You
arts.
both did.
Yeah, we did the same degrees. But I would also say that one of my fears, it's less about having a backup and more about
Dad not
Not-
loving you. No, what were you going to say? What were you going to say? No, you go first. No, you just.
No, well, this isn't particularly funny, but not putting...
Wow, that's a great idea for a podcast.
Oh, dude, I've been unfunny so many times
This
on
is
this
how we
podcast.
What do you
write our
hit us with
shows.
one of your undebatable facts?
Okay, now it's going to sound
No,
trite.
I'd love to hear it.
But if you put everything on your gigs, everything,
Yeah.
money, rent, self-worth, creative quality, if everything's on your gigs, then you become really jaded against the performance that is the thing you're supposed to enjoy doing. So, like, there's nothing wrong with having a job. The mystical kind of starving artist, you have to starve to be any good, is not true, because if I'm working during the day and doing comedy at night in my 20s, then that means that I'm not worrying that this gig's not going to pay my rent, and so I can just be good at the gig instead of thinking I
agree
better
with
be
that.
fucking amazing, because if they don't book me next week I can't eat. And it's a whole different kind of
And the
pressure
other thing that
I think that kind of having a job really helped.
Well,
Well,
when
you
we
meet
went-
different people. Your whole act's not. I was doing gig here. I was doing gig here. I was doing gig here.
Oh, I
When
know
we
those
moved
people.
to Sydney, we were dead poor. We would share a glass of wine at the pub and stuff like that. And we both had jobs that were really good, actually, and led into what we now do with Beej being an author and me producing shows and stuff, led into what we now do as well. So we didn't have any money, and we were dead poor, but the things that we had enabled us to create all of these other skills that we use now into making our shows a lot better. Like, our shows have nice narrative.
something
Benjamin's
crazy.
very here's something crazy.
Another fact. Here we go. Go.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a fact.
So
Get a tram door ready just in case it's shit. Just to close in front of me. God, the Stevenson
Is it
Experience are
raining?
really
Is it
going
raining?
through it.
So when moved to Sydney with a bit of savings, maybe what was it, 12 years ago? You said yesterday. And
Did you have savings when we moved to Sydney?
I didn't tell you about it. Did
Why
I?
are we sharing a glass of
I was
wine?
getting a free half.
Because he bought it and you're fucking
Yeah.
feeling it. That's why he's got the fucking money.
Yeah. Why does it just taste like apple juice? What's going on here?
So
He's very thrifty.
the savings kind of trickled down and down and down and down and down, and then the same. Like a month before the Melbourne Comedy Festival that year, I got an office job. Okay. And then the show's on sale. It's booked. It's been on sale for 6 months. And I'm like, I'm going to the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And the office job, which was really fantastic across my whole career.
Oh, yeah, this is
But
mad.
I was brand new at it. And I was like, so can I take the first month off? And they were like, understandably, nah, probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
So I flew to Melbourne every day.
No.
That Melbourne Comedy Festival, so I
Our
could
show is at
so I could
9:45.
start off my 9 to 5 job in Sydney. So 9:45 show.
What the fuck?
Would work
Every
9
day.
to 5, fly to Melbourne at 6, do the show, fly back to Sydney at 6, go to the office. And I did that. I did that. I
Thank
think
God
I did
you
it
had
20
savings.
times.
Because that would have been
That
so
would cost a
expensive.
fortune.
This is back when flights were like, I remember I booked them all in an afternoon.
And they were like 49 bucks each.
They were like $50 one way.
Okay.
So
Boom,
not
boom,
too
boom.
bad, but still not cheap.
They were pretty
No,
much
no.
letting him fly the plane on the way home. They're like,
Yeah.
g'day, beach.
Oh my God, that's exhausting. Was it a good festival though?
It's
Was it great?
cracking.
So
So much
really
fun.
good.
So much fun.
Yeah, it
worth
was
it
really
then.
good.
Yeah. But it was. I remember doing that because I wanted to do both. I knew that both were important to me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why not
Yeah.
do everything? Why not try and do both?
I still do I do lighting and rigging's my job by trade, and I still have my toe in that world because I don't want to take a shit gig or be forced to like work for someone I don't fucking like. So like I still make money from comedy or whatever, but I have that as a backup because I don't want to be put into a corner where like, nah, mate, it's $150. I'm like, no, my minimum's this. You need to meet that. You know what I mean? I want that there so I don't have to be forced to do something out of what my parameters are, if that makes sense.
yeah, totally.
I think it's much more difficult now to make a living just purely from the live stand-up. I mean, you've got
It's fucking hard, yeah.
Getting those skills from other places really helps it because there's writing or there's podcasting or there's filming or screenwriting or directing or all of those things that come through that I really enjoy the elements of them that I do as well as stand-up, and it keeps me busy and I don't just go insane on one stand-up set that needs to
Yeah.
be perfect in this one festival. We do things when we're ready. We do shows that we like. Everyone registers for the festival in October without a show. Now we register when we have a show. It's a dream change. It's
yeah.
unbelievably different.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't imagine having a year off for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
It's great that you guys.
But also, you've only
also-
kind of just at the start of your.
Yeah, we
you know
did
what I mean?
13 in a row.
Well, yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
decided every second is good
Now we
for
do
us.
one every
That's
2.
great.
And
Yeah.
also because, it takes a lot of effort to build that festival hour. And then,
What,
by the
40
time you
times?
start
Yeah.
rebuilding the next one, I mean, you should spend a year making money off that material that you've written and
Yeah.
touring it and going places that you didn't go. And it
Yeah.
takes a whole year to get around it. You can't
It
kind
is
of do it in
wild.
kind of
It
4
is wild
months.
that we do it. It's 1 year. Like it's crazy to think
Yeah,
I'm already
yeah.
I've
halfway
been-
through.
I've been
this
battling
show.
with
Start
it at the
writing a new
moment.
show, Bron.
my God.
Come on, get on it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
But
You're
by
behind.
by the time you finish and get that show right, it's like in the bin next one, it's like, well, no, I haven't gone to this part of Perth. I haven't gone to that town. I want to go to that. I think I'm sure my managers will probably hate it, but I'm moving to that 2-year model because it gives me more time to write and also enjoy my life and have some downtime without panic, you know?
Definitely, and have experiences to talk about and things to say.
Yeah.
Because if you do say what you have to say every
Yeah.
single year for 13 years, Beej and I would look at a blank sheet of paper and be like, we don't have anything to say.
Yeah,
and
you talk about hotel rooms. You talk about tour.
on the road,
Yeah.
did this. You've got to find some lived experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, both our parents are still alive. God, it's impossible to
Oh
write
my
a bloody
God,
show.
what
Come
the
on,
hell?
you go
Nothing.
We're
Now,
still twins. This is bullshit.
you imagine that? Are you guys still twins?
Yeah, no, we are. No, it's a branding exercise.
Now, James, out of high school, what was your first job?
My first job, I worked at Macca's as my
which
first
one?
job, Erindale Macca's.
Oh, okay.
In-
you've had Tuggeranong boys.
Yep, Tuggeranong
Oh,
Boys.
right.
We lived in Macarthur in Canberra, and I
Oh,
worked
very
at
cool.
Erindale Macca's, and I worked there for 3 months, and then I got fired.
Did you get long service leave? Oh, okay.
That is a long time for McDonald's.
Yeah.
Someone 3 months.
3
Fucking
months,
hell.
yeah.
You'd be on the board. Oh, employee of the year.
Well, almost made it to crew trainer. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah, unbelievable.
Why'd you get fired?
I got fired because I
Getting
worked
fired
there.
from McDonald's
Yeah, I
is
got
so
fired
grim.
from Macca's. I know, really grim, right? So basically, I had a system where if you get 3 warnings in a row, or not in a row, if you get 3 warnings, you get fired. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was back in the days where they did the rosters on paper, and so you would have to go into the shop and look at the wall, and you'd see when you were on that week, and then you would show up for your shifts and blah blah blah, and they put them up 1 week at a time every week. Anyway, I was 14 and 9 months when I got the job, which is I think when you can start working, and so I was 15, and my parents over the summer were like, we're all going to the coast for Christmas, and I was like, okay, and then because I'm 15, so you go, as we all know. So I go in the office, I tell the guy, I'm like, my parents are going to the coast for 2 weeks, I'm going with them, and he's like, all right, whatever. Anyway, I get back, and I've got 3 warnings for the 9 missed shifts from the paper roster that's on the wall. And I was like, I was down at the coast with my parents. And like, well, you should have come back for work. And I was like, oh, sorry, I think we've misunderstood here. I'm a 15-year-old kid.
How would I get back?
How would I get back? How am I not allowed to go to the coast with my parents? This is madness. And they go, well,
Walk
you
up
missed
the
3
Clyde.
in a row, so you're going to get fired unless you want to undergo like disciplinary hearing. And I was like, again, I'm a 15-year-old kid. No, thank you. So I got fired then.
To be fair, the warnings weren't for missing the shifts because I was rocking up
Jizzing
before
in the
your
burgers.
shifts and
I was
being
jizzing in the burgers.
Fuck you. My name's James Stevenson. Fuck you.
I was like, God, he's really racist as well. Stop yelling racist things through the drive-through window.
He's got a gun. He's 15. What's going on? Anyway, I left, and they're like, give us back your little swipe card, because you clock in and clock out, and I gave it back to them. And then for the next 6 months, they gave someone else my swipe card who was working shifts and tapping it in, and they were paying me for. And I did not tell them. Erindale Macca's,
Suck shit.
No
Suck
way.
shit.
You got
That's
paid
great.
for 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
And that person
Great.
was just not getting paid.
No, I assume that person was getting paid, but I haven't thought too much in the ethics of that. Thanks, Bron.
There's just someone
Single
out on
mum.
the streets like, I worked for 6 months for this corporation. I didn't get a fucking cent.
These Maccas are dogs. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, free money, free money, free money.
Awesome. She lost her house. She lost everything.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? Oh, it's fine. I've had 3 warnings. I can't do anything about it.
Benjamin, what was your first job?
I worked in a fried chicken shop across the road from Erindale
Oh, I
Macca's.
was
Yeah.
just like, what was that called?
Kingsley's Chicken
delicious.
for the Canberran.
Oh, whoa, you guys are so
I've never seen
Canberran.
one more excited in a podcast.
delicious.
Unbelievable chicken.
Were you a fat
Awesome
kid?
chips.
I love Macca's and fried chicken.
Kingsley's is crazy because it's
So
it's
popular.
opposite. It's a very popular Canberra fried and
chicken.
roast
Oh, actually,
chicken.
sorry. I know Kingsley chicken because Nick made me have chicken from there and also a burger, and it fucking rules.
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, I
It
know
is
it.
good.
And
Yeah,
the,
It's
yeah.
chips,
real
the
good.
chips are like
And
crinkle
they give
cut.
you
Everyone
vinegar
goes
with the
mad about
chips,
them.
which places don't do, and I love.
But Canberra is obsessed. Canberra is obsessed
Yes.
with Kingsley's, right? So it's opposite the road from the gymnasium, like the gymnast gymnasium. I don't know if there's a different word for that.
What,
but
is that
like,
the ones that flip around?
yeah,
or
with all the,
whatever?
with all the
foam
floor
pits
stuff.
and
Oh,
everything.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
Pummel horses.
the gymnast
I'm just gonna keep
would
saying
just
gym
come
words at you.
over and gorge the fried chicken.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just using so much energy. They gorge the fried chicken. And then
Leotards and
also, we
chicken.
open at like 10:30 in the morning. And
Dude,
there'd be
no
people
one
like
needs-
knocking on the windows being like, chicken, chicken, chicken. And I'm like, we're not even open yet.
Beige would-
People love it.
Beige would
love
come
it.
home smelling like the rankest chicken. He had these boots that went grey with chicken fat, and he wasn't allowed
Yeah, it
to
was
get
pretty
undressed in the house. He had to go in the laundry and get undressed in
That's
the laundry.
hilarious.
He reeked
But
The
here's the
dog
thing.
Oh, so you were out the
loved
back.
him.
You
Here's the
weren't on
thing, right?
tills.
Yeah, he was.
I was out the back.
He's not good
I was
looking
cooking
enough for
the
the
chicken.
tills. They need
Here's
this.
the
They
thing.
need this for the tills. That's not going to fly.
That's why I got 3 warnings. Too ugly for the tills, mate. Warning number 1. But here's the
Get
thing.
off the tills,
Is-
Mr. Hyde. Is that the right one?
So I can't walk past the back of a KFC. You know the KFC exhaust vent, and it kind of pumps
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that smell.
What
So-
are you doing walking by the back of KFC?
Yeah, but like, you know when you
Where
walk
you
past
getting
the
that
KFC,
from?
you know the smell, right? So I can't walk past the back of a KFC
Yeah.
without being like, this is kind of gross. And I worked at that chicken restaurant, and I still eat it. Like
it's
that's
still
how good Kingsley's is.
It's
Kingsley's is still
It
is.
has verifiable fact. Let's see how we go. Worst ads on telly that have ever been.
Shocker.
Oh, so
Absolutely.
do you
shocker.
remember with the chips
Ooh.
talking?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Do you
And they
remember
had the
this?
little-
No,
They
there
were
was-
kind of 2000s ads.
There was
was
one.
so
There's
bad.
one ad that I was obsessed with. My roommate, shout out Doug Gordon, love you. And we were obsessed with this famous footballer had a souvlaki shop, and the ad was him on it because he's famous, and for some unknown reason he's at a zoo, and he's like, Mr. Gorilla, do you want a souvlaki? And then it cuts to a gorilla, and the gorilla's digital. Like, but I'm talking 90s, like 3D. It's so bad. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And the guy's like, and then he throws the souvlaki to the gorilla,
Yes.
and then the gorilla eats it, this digital gorilla. And I was like, he wrote that, and that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Sounds like the best thing I've
but
ever
it's
also,
also
no
the
notes.
best.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
It's
Don't
perfect.
change a thing. And we'd always get high and watch this ad. It was like, how did this get through?
Have you eaten
Was
the
there just one, or
souvlaki?
was there a series of different animals?
Oh, it was one.
Giraffe. Would you like a, you know?
It was one and done.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
They
yeah.
all take that sound.
And he's
Whoa,
like, yeah,
whoa,
you
whoa,
love
whoa.
that, Mr.
Sacha
Gorilla.
Baron Cohen's watching it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa,
gives
wee,
me an
whoa.
idea.
This is good shit.
Also, Borat did sound a lot like that football player. I won't do the accent, but it was a bit,
Accents are cool.
Did
They're
you try
coming back.
the souvlaki? Did you try it?
yeah, it did make us, because we'd get high and we're like, fuck, I'd really got fucking souvlaki now.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, advertising, king of advertising.
There you go.
The
Good
other,
up, yeah.
There you go, works.
the other fun job that Beej had was.
Oh well, this goes into I worked at a
Is this your worst ever job? Incredible.
Am
Oh,
I
is this
cutting
your
off? I
worst?
don't
No,
want
I
to cut
love
off
it.
the questions.
Please.
I worked at a brothel
Please.
out the back, too ugly for the front.
No, so I worked at a.
I'm not
Not
in
in the
glory
tills.
I worked at
Keep
a.
your fingers out of the tills, mate.
I worked at a dry cleaners / photo developing place, right?
Oh, yes.
Photo
Oh, I
developing.
love a
Classic.
slash. That's a Canberra.
Slash.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Get this.
Photo developing / dry cleaners.
Drive-through.
Oh,
Drive-through
good.
photo developing / dry cleaners, right?
And 50 metres from Kingsley's, 50 metres from Matters. We're in the
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
the Bermuda
But let's not give
Triangle of
away.
Stevenson
Let's not give away what the
Experience.
actual fucking place was. No, but it was just.
It takes like 24 hours to develop things.
Yeah,
They're
no,
using the
an
car
hour,
forever.
an hour.
There was this big machine, right? And we
Yeah,
had to
1
put the
hour.
photos through. Now, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but when you got your photos developed, now how old was I? I was 18.
16.
So 2007, right?
Okay.
So it was kind of fading out, photo developing, but you could still go and get it, and a lot of people had it. But you put it through this big machine and then manually touch up every photo. Like
Oh.
check the lighting, check the exposure, da-da-da. So
Well,
you...
that doesn't feel like a drive-through experience
It comes
for anyone.
no. Well, you drive through, drop it off, and then you go somewhere else, and then you drive through and
Go to
come back.
Kingsley.
The
So
So
drive through
it's
really
not a
is
drive through,
pointless
it's a
part.
drive and come back. It's,
Yeah.
it's a don't park.
It's a
That's
drive
what it is.
around. It's a
Yeah.
drive
It's
around.
a drive
Head to
around.
Macca's, see if they paid you. They haven't come back. Yeah.
It's a go-kart track, actually. You got to drop it off and then keep going. But they
Good joke, Beach.
So, actually, this is
I
comedy
liked
duo
it because it was
support.
racing. Thank you.
Comedy duo support rating. So, what my point is, the person developing your photos in 2007 saw
Sees them
every
all.
single one of your photos, right?
Yes.
This lady would come in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed. I
And
love
she
this so
would
much.
say, now I don't
Yes.
want to guess at her age, but I thought she was like 40, right?
Okay.
So much older than me at this time.
Which you're
Yes.
17, so you're like, this
Yeah.
bitch is old.
Yeah, the oldest
yeah,
lady.
yeah.
Now
in the
you're like,
world.
this is a normal woman. This is not an old woman, but this is like grandma over here coming in.
I was 19 or 20 at that time. And so, and this is going to sound like I made this story up, right? And I've never told this
I'll
story
confirm
before,
that it's
but
not made up.
It's 100%
No.
true. She would come in and she would drop off her photos to the other guy that worked there. And then she would say, she would point at me out the back ironing the pants because I'm slash
I forgot
photo
about it. Yeah,
/ dry cleaner. I'm ironing the pants out the back. She
You
would point
smell like chicken. You're ironing pads. This old woman's come in.
You've had a hard life. You coal miner before
she
this?
would point at me.
He's got the black lung. He's ironing the pants.
She would point at me and she would say, I would like him to develop my photos. He does the best job.
Okay. That's very
Nudes.
nice. All
Nudes.
All nudes.
Not all nudes. More like, they were kind of like artsy nudes, I guess. But I'm like, she's walked in and she picks me every time and she's dropping off rolls of
Full
film.
nudes.
Thank
deliberately-
God you work the
deliberately
laundromat
beige.
so you get the stains out of your pants after all those big cars.
But were you like telling people to come over and have a look? You're like, look what she's making me develop?
No. I just printed it. I just did it.
But you're
doing doubles, aren't you? No. You do it. Come on. You've done some doubles.
The best ones that we got.
The people with the melons.
People would go on like holidays. Like lads would go on holidays, and they come back and they get their photo reel developed, and it's all just photos of them in Bali with watermelons over their junk. Or
very
like,
cool.
You know,
very cool. Very tight.
They're like, this will be classic, and then I'm sitting there developing them at 10 in the morning, being like, this is way less classic than you thought it was.
The other really funny thing about that job was Beej had a boss who liked to just go places, right? And so I would come in to say, pick up Beej from work or give him something or whatever, or drop off Dad's dry cleaning.
By this point, I'm thinking you haven't had a job since McDonald's.
Well, I'm still getting paid. Why would I go and get another job?
Very good. Okay, good.
Oh, actually, at this point, I'm off working at Rebel Sport, formerly Amart All Sports.
That's really
and
cool.
that was my uni job. But yeah, so Beej would say go on lunch, and I'd come in and drop Dad's shirts off for dry cleaning, or maybe get Beej to develop a couple of my nudes. But I
want him to look at my dick.
Yeah, exactly. That one right
I
there.
want that one there.
Develop it now. 1 hour
Zoom. Zoom.
Still nothing.
Print.
That's a high level of exposure actually on that one. Thank you. That's
the contrast off on that. Thank you.
Good. So anyway, Beej would be out at lunch, and his boss would just be like, "Oh yeah, Beej." No, he didn't call him Beej. He said, "Oh yeah, Benjamin's not here. He's at lunch, but I've got to go to the bank, so take care of the store." And he would leave. And I would be standing in a shop, again, that I didn't work at. So basically most of the place I worked at didn't want me there or were putting me there when I was not employed. So I would be there and I would just be working in the shop. And Beej would come back for lunch and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I was like, "Your boss left me in charge." And he's like, "You don't work here." So I'd just be standing there. I'd be rifling through people's photos. I'd be taking dry cleaning and like, "Did you at least get the tickets?" I'm like, "What's a ticket? I don't fucking work here." It was carnage.
Same thing as our gigs. I show up. What the fuck are you doing here? You don't work for the Stevenson Experience anymore.
For some reason, no, the boss did not want to stay in the shop. The second he saw me, he'd be like, "I'm out. You've got this."
But then the other confusing part would, because you're twins, so customers would come in, you'd be like, "I don't know what I'm doing." It's like, "Cunt, I've seen you here before working. I know you know what to do."
I've seen you iron a crease.
Now, can we go back to the nudes? Did you root this lady?
No.
Damn it. Okay, that was my only question.
I just printed them
She wanted
off.
to fuck, obviously, didn't she? She's
I don't know.
I don't think she did. I genuinely don't think she did. But it was
thrill.
I think so. But
I just think I was really good at developing photos.
I think maybe that might have been it. Maybe that was, and if we were artistic.
Sorry, it's a touch screen, automatic. Like we've all done it at a chemist. It's that behind a counter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, fucking.
It's a special set of skills, mate. Here's the other thing about dry cleaners, right? Is
this a verifiable fact?
This is a verifiable fact.
Always.
People put their entire kind of life and petty conflicts into this the dry cleaning operation. So a woman would come past in the morning and she would drop off a wedding dress, right? And she'd say, "I'd like this wedding dress dry cleaned. If a man comes and picks it up, do not let him pick it up. Only let me pick it up.
Whoa.
That's my ex-husband and he's trying to ruin my wedding," right? And so then in the afternoon,
oh my gosh,
this man comes along.
I'm in charge at this stage, obviously.
How many dresses do you want? Yeah, take 7.
Which one? The white one? You want the white one?
So in the afternoon, this man comes along and he's like, "I'm here to pick up my wife's wedding dress." And I'm like, "Oh, I can't give it to you." And he's like, nah, she sent me down here. She sent me down. I don't know what he wanted to do with it, like throw red paint on it. But then suddenly I'm in the middle of an argument with some man trying to pick up the wrong clothes, or like there's
and you're
all
like,
these
"I'm just trying to develop grandma's nudes here. Leave me alone."
I got 13 guys blocking their dick with a melon to get through. I don't have
cantaloupe on someone's balls to get through. I don't have time for this.
And I'm very good at my job.
But like part of me is like, don't you have better things to do than, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rock down to the dry cleaners and fuck up my ex-wife's clothing.
But
You know,
also,
like,
what
come on.
an awful revenge as well. Like
Exactly,
someone's getting
yeah.
remarried, you're like, "I'm going to fucking ruin her dress." Like, yeah, you're looking like a psycho, dude.
so many
Yeah.
questions that have arisen.
Beej is like, "I'm trying to iron crease and develop crease. Leave me alone." I thought of that
You're
one.
bubbling on that
Very
one, bro.
good.
I know he'd moved on. But I thought it was
Guys,
clever
Maybe
enough.
you can edit it back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
where it
Can
was
you-
supposed to
yeah,
go.
Can you put that hot
Move
riff
it
in
forward.
from 5
Yeah,
minutes?
just
Go
chuck
ahead.
the riff in. Thanks. Yeah.
It's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having us on
Yeah.
the
Thank you so
podcast.
much.
And it was James and Benjamin.
Yeah, no,
and
the
thank
names
you.
are well done.
Thank you.
Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
And so, what is the worst job you've ever had then, James?
That I worked at a engineering company after I got my engineering degree for 6 months.
Yep.
And I worked every day until like 4 a.m. and I would go home.
Not
and,
4 a.m.
Well, no, but
That's an exaggeration.
Well, I'd stay in the office like till late at night and I would go home. I got to the point where I just wouldn't go to sleep because I know I had to wake up and go back to work.
Oh my God.
And the boss would like yell at everyone. And it was sort of like an intake thing where people would come in and you go to all these things with all these other new employees and they'd be like, oh, what did you do this month? And you're like, oh, I built the roof of that hospital. What did you do? And they're like, I got coffee. I'm like, okay, I'm in too deep. Like I didn't know what I was doing.
Can I just cut you off here? So
Yes.
I told really funny story about developing news things, and your worst job is I had a job that made me really depressed and
Hey,
capitalist.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
but
It
sure,
doesn't
it's a bad
have to be- That is a
bad
very
job.
bad job.
Hey, in 5 minutes from now, he's going to have a really good joke
you're gonna
about
have a really
it.
good-
Yeah, I'm gonna have a really
So
good
you
joke
did it
about
for
it.
6 months, you
So I
reckon?
did it for 6 months. And
Maybe
then
you had to stay till nighttime every night to get the whole fucking job done because it takes you so long.
I don't
to
know.
come
I,
up
had
with
the,
it.
What were
I
you
don't know why I
doing?
even
How
had
long
the
did it
job.
take you to
Macca's
make
was
the
still
coffee?
paying me, so it was fine. So, I was
that's
like, because
awful.
one of my big concerns was I didn't know, you come out of uni, it's all very technical, and then it goes immediately into the practical, and they didn't teach you at all. They just said, build this, if you fuck it up, you're dead. And I was
Well,
like,
a roof of a
Jesus
hospital,
Christ.
it's more than just you
Yeah, I'm
that's
like,
dead.
well,
But to be
Yeah,
honest, if it
exactly.
goes wrong, they're in a hospital, so
That's
it's fine.
Fix them,
You know,
fix
they-
them. Heaps of Band-Aids. Don't worry about it.
Heaps of banners do that. So I lasted 6 months there, and it was very aggressive, and it was my first like real workplace. So I was like, oh, every boss just yells at you all the time, and then I moved to Sydney and started working with A-List, who are our managers
great.
now, and that was when I left that job
Did
and
you
moved up to
quit
Sydney.
in spectacular fashion? Please say yes.
No, I quit very meekly and embarrassingly. And then the guy who'd been yelling at me for 6 months, he's like, why are you moving to Sydney? I'm like, oh, I'm going to work with this comedy agency. And then he goes, oh my God, I love comedy. I've always wanted to be a comedian. I was like, you have
classic.
been so mean to me for 6 months of my life. And he's like, I love it. And Rowan Atkinson, he used to be an engineer. And this person used to be an engineer. And you blah, 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 blah. And he ranted me about an hour about his love for comedy. And then he goes, best of luck. And I was like, that was fucking
It's so weird that Jamon was your boss. That's crazy. Oh, okay. And you never saw him ever again. I wonder if he's come to your show and been like, I remember screaming at that guy.
He
One
would,
of them.
he would come to the show and be like, remember how we used to work together and have fun?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
he would
That's
have-
a tough rapport we had.
Yeah.
That's a tough heckle. Remember all those people you killed when the hospital collapsed? Oh, damn.
and you're like, oh no.
There's no response. Shut the fuck up. What do you do with
I
that?
got out before any responsibility was mine. He did come to a show once, actually.
Oh, did
He did.
Yeah, he did come to a show.
And did he laugh or did he hate it?
He came up afterwards and gave me a very formal handshake and said, "Thank you, good decision," and then left.
Oh,
Good decision.
to end the show. When you
And I
did.
don't know if he was talking about my decision to leave engineering, pursue comedy, or his decision to attend the show, but I'll take either.
It doesn't
It wasn't
matter.
just a
Yeah.
normal, it wasn't just a
Exactly.
normal handshake. It was a Mandra handshake, which is a coward punch to the back of the head. He hated you. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, this is the things you learn with Brett Blake.
The Mandra handshake. We've all had a few at the pub. Anyway.
So if you
What's a
guys
Mandra handshake?
we call them the Mandra handshake because Mandra used to be really rough in Perth. So they're like, oh, mate,
Mandra, the place.
Yeah, Mandra handshake is a punch in the back of the head at the pub.
Oh, right, got
Like,
it.
I
yeah.
got a fucking Mandra handshake the
That's
other
how I
night.
met his mum.
Yeah.
And so do you, if you guys have been performing since you're 15, you must have had some bad gigs up your sleeves.
Stinkers.
We've had some
what's-
absolute shockers.
Yeah, great.
So the worst one we've ever had, like by far, the worst one we've ever had was for a men's health fundraiser.
Men's
So
mental health
Men's
fundraiser.
mental health fundraiser. So it's a corporate.
Yep.
Right?
Which made you want to kill yourself up.
Yeah. Well, so it's a corporate and it's in the middle of the drought and they're doing like a awareness raising thing for people who are struggling with the drought, and it's in a really small country town, right? So we fly there, it's like 2 planes to get there. We get there, there's this golf club we're staying at. We come in, everyone's really nice. The woman behind the counter, she's like, come here, see us for dinner later. Like, come in, see us, we've got a lovely restaurant, we loved it. We've got a reservation down for you. So come in after the show and have dinner with us. They're all nice, they drive us to the venue. It's all good, all good. And we get there and the mood's a little bit weird. There's been some issues with the drought and depression, and that's why they're having the event. But it's at the racetrack, and just as the MC gets on stage, the racetrack turns the sprinklers on, and everyone starts going, "Oh, get the sprinklers off! Get the sprinklers off! That's what killed Bobby!" And we're like, Jesus Christ! Like using the water, they're really like,
Oh,
so they're
yes,
tense.
sure.
So we're like,
No, they
"Oh."
didn't. He didn't drown in the
No,
sprinkler.
no, but
Bron's face is like, how did the
hell?
sprinkler?
I was like, is there electricity coming out of the sprinklers? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, Bobby.
Just rubbing it in their face by spraying
Like
water
spraying
behind
water
their
everywhere.
drought awareness.
Yeah.
Talk about drought awareness is making people
Yeah.
depressed, and they're just
Turn it
spraying
off.
water everywhere. So anyway, they get there, and Beej and I are like, this is tense. This is real tense. And we've got our instruments. For those of you who don't know us, which is probably everyone, to be honest, we do musical comedy, so we play musical comedy. So we set up our instruments
The
on stage.
longest lasting musical duo.
In the world slash universe.
Yeah, in the absolute world.
I stand by my point on that.
Yeah.
If not the fact, I stand by the point I was trying to make.
You doubled down, brother. I love that.
Yeah, good.
Did you know Tom Cruise is the only actor still working today?
And I'm the last woman on earth.
We'll just cut those riffs back into the first one.
Yeah,
So this is a big edit, guys. Big edit. Real sorry. Real sorry.
Brett's got his work cut out for him this week.
We take a while to come up with things, but when we do, it's not that worth it.
Should we should swap seats just to fuck with the edit.
No, actually, do not do that. That would really fuck with me.
James had a shave halfway through the show. That was weird.
Change shirts. It was weird.
Yeah. So anyway, so we get there. They're stressed. They're really stressed, and it is for health awareness, and so that makes sense. But it's a bit tense. It's a tense vibe. Now there's the MC who gets up and does. We've all had this when you go to the corporate, and there's a really sad speech before you about all the sad stuff that's been happening. I mean, we've had classic walk-ons such as, and that was when I found out I had alopecia. Please welcome to the stage the Stevenson Experience, and we're like, Jesus Christ. That was a fun one.
Well,
And
the alopecia one, just a side note.
Oh my God.
It was actually quite a good gig, I remember. But they were raising money for alopecia, which is when people's
imagine
hair
if they
falls out,
weren't.
right?
Imagine if they were raising money for something else, and the woman just brought us on with, and that was when I found out I had alopecia.
So they had this lady, and they had this lady talking about how she found out she had alopecia before she brought us on, and it kind of set the mood of the room low. But the other thing they were doing was
Free Brazilians, move on.
they were raising they were raising money for charity by auctioning off if anybody in the audience wanted to get their head shaved, just kind of solidarity, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this woman, absolutely hammered, really got excited by this, right? Beautiful long hair, volunteered. Everybody,
Really caught away in the moment. I'd do the
Yeah,
same.
really in the moment.
I want to be the hero
And I
of this
can't remember
room.
how it worked. I think she volunteered, and then the room kind of had to raise a
Bid
pool of
for
money
her.
to get her
Yeah.
to do it, right?
Okay.
So, and then they shaved her head on stage, and then she sobered up. And it was just the most mortifying. She was so
burst into tears, ran off the
stunned
stage
and
like
shocked
just.
and couldn't believe she'd done it. Burst into tears, and then we're just like waiting to go on, going, "This is gonna be hard."
Is there still hair and shit on the floor?
She comes.
No,
she
I can't
comes
remember.
in. Yeah, there's still hair and shit on the floor. She comes in. She's like, "Well, at least I raised thousands of dollars, right?" And they're like, "It was $250." But she burst into tears. Beej and I have been backstage in a green room for 6.5 hours. They
No
wouldn't let us-
food,
'cause
but
they-
a chocolate fountain. They
Just
gave
a
us a
chocolate fountain.
chocolate
So we've been
What are you
sitting for
fucking complaining about?
We've been 6 hours. We are on the biggest sugar high of our lives. This bald woman's bawling her eyes out next to us. And then they go, and that was when I found out, please welcome the Stevenson Experience. And we walk on stage. And that one, surprisingly, was fine. But it was like,
fine.
I was like every ingredient.
She wasn't bald. They did it short, and they had a team of stylists, and they made her a really cool haircut.
she was happy by the
at
end of the
of the night. But the kind of the dawning shock
Yeah.
was quite.
It was
crazy.
that was an intense gig. Good chocolate fountain though.
you'd hope
And
so.
yeah, so no.
Look, I don't mind a chocolate fountain, but if you eat
Not for
nothing
6
but
hours.
if you eat nothing but sugar and marshmallows and chocolate for the 6 hours before a gig, like,
And it's not
you
like-
know, when you do a
That's
gig
not
on a full
good.
start, like
Some people might be thinking, well, why didn't you know when you were on? We were told we were on next for 4 hours in a row. So it was like, and we're just doing this raffle. Oh, no, we've just got the silent. Oh, no. So we couldn't go anywhere because we thought we were on next. So that's why.
Do you reckon you could maybe shave that chick's head later?
Yeah.
So I've got
Yeah.
places to go.
Sorry, no, we're actually going to do the whole 3-hour musical of hair here.
Do you mind, before you shave her, maybe shaving a couple of minutes off the fucking run order?
We want to fucking get out of here. I am on a sugar high. I've got diabetes.
That isn't the worst ever gig you've done.
That's not the word. So the gig was fine, but that was the
No, that was
circumstances where
fine.
we were
That
like,
was
this
just
is
fine.
going to be grim. So we're at the racetrack, right? The sprinklers have come on and
Yes.
everyone's really tense. And we're like, this is going to be hard. It's all men. It's 100% men. So there's no women there at all. And then
There's
there's...
only one left.
Yeah, and it's
And I'm
you,
sitting- I
verifiable.
was another
fact.
gig,
Verifiable.
yeah,
Well done.
verifiable, well
Exactly. And yeah, so there's a MC, like a host. He gets up and does a speech about all the sad stuff, which is just like the alopecia one. So all the sad stuff. And then he brings on the first speaker, who is a famous horse trainer who got done for doping all of his horses. And in New South
Not
Wales.
all of his horses.
Well, a
You've
whole
gotta get
lot
your
of his
facts right,
a
mate.
whole lot of his horses. He got done for doping.
A whole lot.
He got done from doping. He got banned from the New South Wales Racing Commission. And he comes up there and he goes, "G'day, everybody. Nice to be here at this men's health lunch. I got 2 things to say to you. I got 2 things I want to talk to you about. 1, check on your mates. You got to check on your mates. It's really important. And number 2, the New South Wales Racing Commission are fucking dogs. They're fucking dogs. They're dogs and they're dogs. I'll tell you what I'll do to the boss of the New South Wales Racing Commission. I'll fuck his wife. I'll tell you what I'll do to the boss of the New South Wales Racing Commission. I'll
James,
fuck
I
his
don't know.
daughter." About 30 minutes goes on. About 30
And
minutes
they got
goes
a
on.
big family. He's got a lot of people to fuck.
Man, he's killing. He's absolutely killing.
Oh, okay, great.
And he's going on. He's like, yeah. I drugged a few horses, but you know what? They only catch you if they test you. And guess what? They tested me. Why didn't they just not test me? Dogs.
I love this guy's energy. It's not my fault my system is full of drugs. It's your fault for checking.
Exactly. So he's killing. He's mopping the floor. People
would
are
love it.
loving him. They're up in arms. They're at the racetrack. They're wooing. They're cheering. They're loving it, right? Anyway, he gets off stage to rapturous applause, and Beja are like, "Okay, music's going to be really hard. So let's just do some riffs."
We'll do roast comedy.
We'll do
We're
roast
like,
comedy.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
what the audience wants.
Yep.
They want
Yeah, it does
roast
sound
comedy.
like that, yeah.
So we get up and we do roast
And you're
comedy.
like, I'll also fuck the racing commission's mum.
Yeah. I hate her. Yeah, great.
So we get up there, we do some roast comedy. What do you do? What's your name? All that stuff. We do about 10 minutes. We've got to do 30, and we've got our instruments set up. And we know we can't do 30 without playing a single song when they've flown us and all our instruments there. So we do
It's
about...
hard to riff for James as well because he has to leave the stage for 5 minutes, come up with it, and then come back.
Come back, yeah. A lot of pacing issues, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, remember 5 minutes ago? Got one for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just as I'm thinking of a joke, this tram door just closes in front of my face.
you.
I fuck you. Off I go. So anyway, we get up there. We do about 10 minutes. The surprising thing, considering it's our worst ever gig, is that we're killing. Like, we're
Oh,
killing.
great.
And then we go, we're
the
like,
turn.
okay, well, we've got them good now. So let's go. Benjamin gets out his piano and he plays...
Gets it out. It's
Yeah,
set.
what do you mean?
It's
It's in your
set.
pocket?
So we go, we're
I'm not
going to...
lifting
No,
it.
it's in his back pocket. Yeah.
We're going to play you a song now. He hits one key, and this guy at the back of the room goes, "No!" And then 300 people start booing us in unison.
Oh.
Absolutely. Benjamin's like, no, it's going to be... Remember, we were just funny for 10 minutes. Banana, no!
Oh, my
Get off! Booing, jeering, like
I think
horrendously
it was
angry.
it was funny. There was some booing, but memory of it is it turned the audience off
On a dime.
Right? So he yelled. They heard the music. We're like, we're going to do some musical comedy. Hit a note. No, and then the whole audience just turned to one another and went, "The show's over." Right? You know, like it was just it erupted in just conversation
And there was
chat.
booing and there was
some
cheering.
people were like, "Boo,"
the guy who
whatever.
booked us after about 2 minutes of trying to play a song. The guy
guy
that booked
booked
us
us-
was doing this. And doing this and like doing cut-off signals, the timeout signals, get off stage. So we walk off to him off stage and he goes, "Here's your cash," hands it to us and goes, "Get in the van and get in the van now." And we're like,
Because you know that guy who said he's
my
going to
God.
fucking, you know that druggy guy who said he's going to
He's
fuck
gonna
someone
fuck
up?
him up.
He's going to come fuck you guys in the ass.
we're
Yeah.
going to get your instruments out and we're going to take them back to the hotel for you. You guys just straighten the van right away, please. And we're like, okay. What, I didn't
No
think.
way.
So
Who are
anyway,
these people?
We don't know. We walk off into the, men's health, more like our health.
Yes,
come on.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, I
Twins
completely
out.
forgot about the men's health part. I was distracted by that guy who was trying to root everyone.
So we get into the van and then the van drives
It's
us
Wake
back.
and Fright, but for comedy, that's what it is.
I haven't seen Wake and Fright, but I'm sure that was good.
That was quite
Okay.
good.
So there's
one
one.
of- It's one of Shakespeare's
yeah,
best.
Yeah, but you beat me to do it. I was like, is that one of those Shakespeare ones?
Yeah.
Just wrap it next time, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wrap it so I know.
please,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we get in the van, we go back to the golf resort
Hotel,
where they
yep.
said that we could have dinner, and we go back to the hotel. And we're a little bit shook because it was such an immediate like turn of just like 2 minutes of everyone just despised us for
Especially
no
because
reason.
they would have seen the piano on stage. So they would have been like, well, that's probably going to get used. Like, it makes no sense that they were so
Well,
upset about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I feel like they filed into this men's mental health lunch in drought-stricken country Australia at a racecourse, looked at the stage and thought, Now, which theatrical measures are going to come on stage during this performance? Yeah, that's definitely what was going
That's
through
probably
all
what
of
they
their
thought.
heads.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Good. As long as you're on the same page. Yep.
So we go back to the hotel room and we sort of just decompress for like 30 minutes. We're like, that was weird and it was stressful and we're a little bit shook and it was
Also,
it was
side
bad.
note, my hotel room was full of bees.
Oh yeah.
Full of bees. Now, it was full of bees. It was full of bees before we left.
He's not saying
I'm not saying they put the bees in there, but there was
it's
just
like The Wicker Man, one of Shakespeare's finest.
Do you know when you see like a beehive in real life and it looks like it's from a cartoon? That was like
Yeah.
on the
was this?
porch,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's not a real beehive.
Especially since Beach walked in his door and went, and there was smoke behind him.
Do any bees here want a souvlaki?
Yes.
The thing is though, we're not saying there were some bees in the room. Full of bees.
Full of bees.
Full of bees.
Yeah.
Like a swarm of bees. So we're both in my
Look at
room.
these fucking city slickers. They've never had bees in their room before.
They were attracted to the syrupiness of my blood after the chocolate fountain.
Yeah, that's your fault for bringing the fountain with you. Yeah.
So we go into my room. We're just sort of like decompressing because obviously we can't go into the the aviary. What do you call a bee?
Hive?
No,
Hive?
what do you call the whole farm?
Oh,
You know, you're an author.
come on, mate.
Whatever.
Yep.
We'll go with swarm.
Swarm. Yeah, so we
Just
can't go into
hang
the
on,
swarm room.
I'll just.
Jason Statham's in there just tending to it.
Yeah,
That was actually a good film.
Yeah,
The
not bad.
Beekeeper. It was really
I
good.
was just going to mime
Yeah.
a nothing word for the camera, and then you dub in the
We're gonna
correct
dub
word,
it.
and I look really
okay.
smart. And then I realized it's mostly an audio podcast. So I was going to look down the barrel and go, and then over the back it could go, bee sanctuary or something. You know?
That's so dumb. Anyway, so we go into our room and we're just decompressing. We're all right. Well, they said they had a reservation for dinner, so we'll go have dinner. We walk into the restaurant. Same woman's there. Same woman who greeted us. Restaurant's empty. And I go, hello, we're the Stevos, and we like to have dinner. Have a reservation for us. And the restaurant is empty, and she looks us dead in the face and goes, "We're full." And I'm like, what? And she goes, "We are completely booked out." I was like, "Oh, there's no one here. We'll just be like 45 minutes." She goes, "We're full.
Oh my
Go away."
God.
And we're like, what is going on? They'd rung around the town, told everyone.
I don't think so, yeah.
Or told
They
the people we were
must
staying,
have.
just
Fuck.
ignore these guys.
What
just
you
do
do,
that.
you
do
Nothing.
anything.
We didn't do
Besides-
one note on a piano.
We didn't
That's
do
what we
anything
did.
except-
Was it the brown note? Everyone shat themselves or something?
It's honestly so bizarre even thinking about it now, because it's not like we fucked the gig. We just lost them and never got them back. But like,
For them to be that angry.
That
yeah,
was- it was crazy.
They weren't angry. But
Maybe
it
you,
was
need,
just-
maybe you needed a password. Maybe you needed to lean over the restaurant reservations and be like, the New South Wales Racing Commission are fucking dogs.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? You have to walk into town and
We went to the
Say, honey.
movies.
Aw.
We went to the movies and watched Joker, which is a terrible movie to
Oh,
watch when you're
what?
angry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, then we got online afterwards and said some real horrific shit to women.
holy
We had
shit,
a
that
guy
is a
who
bad.
killed his mum with
so
a
yeah,
hammer.
that'd be.
gig.
We've had shockers, but that would take the cake as being the
It was
most
the worst.
odd and bad.
You know,
Yeah.
like bad gigs are bad gigs, but then you
Also, it
couple
felt
it,
bad.
you
They
couple
spent
it
so
with
much to get us
travel,
there. Yeah.
you know, like
So we felt bad.
money or whatever. It's just like it took 8 hours to fly there. We had to fly to 2 different
Oh my
bits,
God.
and it was crazy.
And did they give you feedback afterwards?
They did not. They did
They
not.
gave you
like we
feedback
got
in the
enough.
room.
I feel like we got enough feedback.
I think they did. Yeah.
We had the feedback.
Was the hornet's nest enough feedback?
That is crazy.
And Beach, have you ever quit in spectacular fashion as well?
Nah.
I haven't actually. No, I've never quit.
I can't imagine you being a fuck you.
You're
you know
a
what I
quiet
mean?
quitter. You'd be
No,
a quiet quitter.
I did have a job once, which I won't identify, but it
Can you
just
tell me
because-
what it is?
Yeah, well,
Which one is it?
one of my jobs. Relax. No, but it's just
wanna get
because
on top of
the
it.
job itself isn't kind of interesting. But the person I was working with would always show up late, and I was at university.
Whoa.
And so it
If
was
the
a-
job you're talking about is the Stevenson Experience,
Yeah,
I'm a busy
Also,
guy.
and also,
I got
you're doing
things on.
overtime at the fucking laundromat. You weren't even walking. I've done my time.
I'm working shifts, unpaid, child labour here.
So they would always show up late, and I was at
Kids
university.
make them in
so it
China.
was-
They don't think about who's ironing them, do they?
It was
For
like
free.
a small place, so I would work the morning and then I would go to university in the afternoon, right? And they would come in and work the afternoon shift. Just one person, right? And they'd be hours late. And so I just started locking the shop and
Right.
leaving. And then I started getting in trouble for leaving. And I'm from the owner of the business. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here until the other person shows up? Tell them to be on time. But anyway, I was the one that got in trouble. So then I got moved to a different branch, and then eventually I just quit. So,
Okay, all right.
but it wasn't spectacular. But that was my little defiance. Was I'm just gonna
leave.
I would wait like an hour and then I'd be like, I'm just going to lock the door
Dude,
and leave.
if I'm not paid, I am out the door that minute. Like, it's tools down. I don't care. If I was a hairdresser, sorry, got half a haircut. Bye.
Is that
I'm
what
out.
happened to
My hair?
Sorry.
Fuck, that was good. Damn it. Damn
Very
it.
good.
There we go.
That was
Not on
good.
my podcast. I will edit that out. So I won.
Can you edit it further forward?
Yes.
in the
No,
episode? So it looks
Let's-
like it took me a
let's
long
swap
time
the
to come up with that.
edit. You just say if I have if I had a headache, and then if I have a haircut, I'll drop tools, and then I'll take it, and then we can edit. So go.
Go.
What do I have to say again? I'm confused.
You just say if I'm a
was a
hairdresser,
hairdresser.
and then the clock goes and I'm not getting paid, I'm tools down.
If a haircut happens, I can't work under these pressure.
All right, I'll just do the edit. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah.
There we go. Got him. Absolutely got him a beauty. It came out of nowhere. Just came into me.
Off the top of your head.
Off
Just
the
top
top
of my
of
head.
that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking
Fucking
Easy as that.
natural,
Easy.
smooth.
You know what's great is Brett's not going to edit any of this.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Guys, how long have we been working together?
Gonna be
You
in
know
order.
I'm not doing any extra work. It's
No
all
way.
staying in.
Now you guys are touring at the moment.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're in Melbourne at the moment, but I'm not.
In
Well,
Melbourne
this
at the
might come
moment.
out maybe even after. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's
we
okay.
never know.
But you guys also have a comedy special that will be released
Yes, we do.
on Channel 10, I believe,
So we
soon
have
as well.
that.
That's
7, and it'll be
awesome.
on the Catch Up Plus as well. So check it
Yeah,
out.
so on Channel 7 coming up is our comedy special. They're playing our full 70-minute show from 2 years ago, which we filmed at the Sydney Opera House.
Oh,
my
cool.
God. Amazing.
And that is on Wednesday the 16th.
The side of the Sydney Opera House has multiple bits. We filmed in the side of the
Oh, and
Sydney
that's the
Opera
fact you chose to bring up, dude. Like, leave us with
no,
our
sorry,
imagination.
sorry.
huh?
Sorry.
We had to pay to use the name. Actually, did we pay? I don't know if we can say it.
No, it's not. It's not called at the. We can say that we filmed it there, but
Okay.
you have to pay if you want to call it the Stevenson Experience live at the Sydney Opera House. I actually don't know the name of the special.
is
Neither
the
do
name of
I.
the special?
I think it's.
Just a secret.
What have we
I
named
think
it
it's-
on?
I think this special is called Stranger Twins.
Stranger Twins.
So that's playing on
Okay.
Channel 7 on April 16th, so you can catch our full hour there. And then we're on to our other new hour, which is in Melbourne at the moment and is going to Sydney and Brisbane. And we've just done Canberra, Adelaide and Perth. And it's called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And then in brackets on stage right next to me.
So funny.
And we
I
guarantee
love
that
it.
the title is not the funniest part of the show.
Guys,
I love- it's a great
instead of
title.
live at the Sydney Opera House, how about live at the big white building next to the bridge
sales
in Sydney?
brackets in the
That's
side
great.
room.
Yeah.
A verifiable
In the closet.
fact. The only famous building in the world. Yeah. There are no other famous buildings still in existence in the world.
Australia's most famous building. I love Tom Ballard's got a great bit about it. It's like, you know how Australians love the opera? And I was like, oh yeah, I would never go in that fucking building for anything. I'll stare at the outside. I ain't going in there for that
Yeah,
singing.
I don't think I've ever been in, but I would have for your show because
I
I
would
love
for
watching you guys perform. You guys
Thank
are
you.
such a fun act. If you guys ever get a chance to go see the Stevenson brothers, please
do.
Thanks so much for coming onto our podcast today. You guys
And
have
also,
been a
where can
real
people
treat.
find you on the social media as well?
At Stevenson Experience on everything.
Who runs that?
To be honest, whoever gets the notification.
Okay.
It's a bot.
Yeah, we
Your mum.
really should try. Everyone's like, get on the socials, get on the socials.
I have a half-hour Instagram limit on what do they call
Oh,
it?
yeah,
screen time.
Screen
Beach got
time.
screen
I
time.
need that.
And my wife set my password and then forgot my password. So I can't change it even if I wanted to. So James is like, could you throw up a social media post today? And I'm like, too bad. Wasted half an hour on cat reels this morning. Cannot do any social media for the
thing
band.
is, screen time is insane because I'm like, hey, Beach, can you jump on our social media and do this at like 7:15 in the morning? And Beach goes, out of screen time, baby, without fail. He
Yeah.
just clocks it all in one massive batch. God,
Oh,
normally
yeah,
do
you
it.
trusted the
Half
guy
an
who's
hour.
out the back printing fucking nudes, jacking his bean off to the fucking thing. You trusted him? Yeah, he's on fucking Pornhub straight away. 7 a.m.
why does this dry cleaner smell like chlorine? We treat the clothes with it. We treat the clothes with it.
Swear to God. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. If you're not on the Patreon, please do so. Jump on. We've got live shows. We're coming. Have we got any more in Sydney?
No, we're
Melbourne live
just in
show.
Melbourne.
Anyway, like, subscribe, all of that boring bullshit. Follow the Stevenson Experience on social media. Until next time, have a good one, guys. Thanks for joining
Thanks for
us.
having us.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets, like real bullets.
Kill me.